Hey guys, it's Spaces Sins, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs, continuing the truth ending. So, now we're going to where we knew Gyobu was probably going to take us, to this domey thingy that's got all the answers. The place we went, where Haiji knew the password. You know, we've been here before. We knew where we were going. And now we're here with Dazai and creepy Haiji. Anyway, the sky began to turn the color of dusk as we hurried along. Ooh, okay. Jesus. Sometimes the sky would darken, and the bangle would restart each time. Oh, there is like a glitch in this matrix. Is it just me, or is the system acting strangely? Haiji didn't say anything as we held hands. Dazai answered in his place.
Yeah, since the earlier system shut down, it seems like it's becoming unstable.
Yeah, is it gonna be okay? Maybe the Information Bureau's hacking in. I called out to Haiji, but he didn't respond. His cold fingertips continued to take me deeper into the grasslands. This place came across the walls of some ruins. Before I could ask him any questions, a wall moved to reveal stairs leading underground.
So this is where it was.
This way. We navigated a dark and narrow passage as Haiji led us forward. The space hidden underground seemed so out of place for being in the meadows. The display screen engulfed the entire area as it showed various pieces of information. The words scrolled endlessly to show that the system was functioning. I was surprised at the sight. Haiji let go of my hand and walked to the panel to manipulate its controls.
It's unlocked. Did you do this, big bro Dazai? No, it wasn't me. This is the first time I've been here.
Gyobu. Dazai seemed just as stunned as I was. He didn't know this place existed. Is it connected to the network? And this place might be... I thought I could call for help, but the thought was interrupted by a voice from a video on screen. Initiating test run of Aster. Oh, sorry. I left the terminal at the lodging. Oh. Unless that's supposed to be Gyobu saying. I figured it was somebody from the past. You know what I mean? Wait, scratch that. Let's retry this in 30 minutes. Hey, don't laugh. Geez, my horoscope said to be careful about forgetting something, but I was being careless. Footage cut off and then resumed again. It appeared to be a recording of some kind. Okay, so it was the original, like, scientist people or whatever. The people that... Okay, it was the past. That's what I assumed at first, and then I was like, wait a minute, so... It seemed to be some kind of daily life, but the woman in the video looked familiar. Person... Is she the one from the photos?
That's right. I can only access this video here.
Why are you showing me this?
Because you can only see it here. You can search all over your world, but you can't see this footage anymore. So I thought you should see it one last time.
One last time? Before I could talk anymore, the video continued. The woman was lively, different from my image of her in the photos. Her lab coat fluttered about. The setting in the video appeared to be the same location we were in. There were lots of displays lined up. This video appeared to be recorded here. There should be no problem. Can you hear me, Aster? If there are no issues, let's run a network test. Is he Aster? He's a computer system? He's a fucking robot? I was like, okay, back to kind of an alien. Same thing. Okay, you're smart. Now let's begin. The time to howl at the moon has ended. We're in the era where the moon howls back. It may be a moon, but it's the second moon. I couldn't take my eyes off the woman in the video. I didn't know why, but it felt nostalgic. I found myself inching closer to the screen so that I could inspect her face closer. Why? I met her before?
Haven't, but let's see.
Haiji pulled his hand off the panel and hugged me from behind while I stared at the screen.
Isn't it odd to say that it feels nostalgic?
The way he touched my body without hesitation made him seem like a child.
I know! Why are you touching her so much?
She didn't say no. It doesn't give you the right to touch me! Jesus, this guy's creepy. Can you stop hugging me?
Get off her!
Well, I'm thinking about what to do. Haiji continued to cling on to me, so Dazai grabbed his shoulder. I like how Dazai's a little possessive right now. And it's not like, whoa, stop being a creep. It's like, don't fucking touch her. Has he been jumping it? Like, I know Haiji's always kind of been inappropriately touchy with us. You know what I mean? But I don't remember if every single time Dazai was always the one. I know other people have been like, yo! And you expected of Tomose, but I don't remember now if Dazai was always like, don't fucking touch her. You know what I mean? Like, don't you dare. And like, fuck, now I feel like I missed that little detail the whole time. But still. But I like how he's being a little possessive now, because he's not saying anything, but he's like, this is my girlfriend, because we confessed our love back in the real world. And she might not remember, but fuck you, kid. I'm here for this. That's so cute. That was when the video ended and the screen changed. There's more, but let's go to the next one. We don't have time.
What do you mean?
There's still plenty you want to know. Especially for you, big bro Dazai. You have every right to know.
Especially me.
Yeah, While still leaning on me, he controlled the panel to bring up a different screen. It was full of numbers and letters. The numbers changed with each second. I couldn't understand a thing just from looking, but Haiji explained it. This is the network status. It's not really functioning due to the interference right now, so it's not in its normal state. The top two are network statuses with the lunar base. Below that is Morpheus. Below that is the satellite. That one is abnormal accesses. Morpheus? Shattered second moon. Gone now. Used to be a relay to communicate with Earth. But this place really is the lunar base that was used for the Morpheus project? Yes, but it's broken down here and there.
No, but...
As I ran up to the screen next, he did a once-over and checked the panel. Check it all you want, but the access rights are about to be limited, so you'd better hurry or you'll be shut out.
About to be limited?
That's right. If they want to shut it down, they should just do it. But they're interfering with this. Maybe they want to erase it. That's fine, too. No fun being alone. Haiji leaned on me lightly as he talked. I mean, I'll feel kind of bad for him, like, because he's always been here, stuck here. I wonder if he's Aster. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if he's just, like, a fucking computer program or, like, was it Voyager that had the holodoc? The hologram doctor is like, fucking sucks. I'm not even real. But you know what I mean? Like, so he's just, like, not even fucking real. Like, if he was a computer program or a fucking robot or whatever, and then the Arcadians are just the pieces of digital data of the people, and it's, like, trying to bring them back. That's why he likes interacting with them, because it's like, they're like people, but they're not really people. But, like, then you could see, like, oh, I brought people here in order to have them act in dramas, and, like, I don't know, I don't feel like his whole thing of, like, I've been stuck here the whole time, and that, like, I don't think that's necessarily true, but it could, but, like, you change your name and your face every time, and, like, you're lonely and you're bored, and you've been suckering people in to try to get the people that you knew, the whatever's left of them, to be real people again, and you know what I mean? Like, I could kind of vibe with that and see, like, if that's the way it's going, like, why he'd be lonely, and, like, you're still creepy, but, like, I kind of get it, and, like, I'll accept it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, that's kind of sad. He's a little robot all by himself, and he just wants friends. You didn't have to be creepy about it, bro, but, you know, but the creepy factor through the whole thing, it makes it more, like, dramatic, you know? Haiji called his name so close to him, but he still didn't respond to me. Haiji? Huh? Oh, right. Now I can hear you. Why are you alone? Is there a reason for that? As, well, you know, I told you I don't have many friends, right? You aren't alone anymore, though, right? You said we can meet once we return to our world. We're already friends. But I am alone. Actually, don't have any friends. There's one in front of you, so let's return together. If you have a reason not to go back, I'll help out. Just tell me what it is. He can't go back. Why do you prefer that world so much? Stay here. This is my world. Haiji whispered so faintly in a way that felt like he was gently burying the thought in my head. Don't listen to him! Stay here, I reached out to touch his face, but Haiji suddenly turned around to face Dazai. Hey, is it okay to change the game? Huh? I feel bad for you, big bro. Change it, please. I'll let you have anything else. I can give it all back right now. Hi, I mean, if you didn't know what was going, he's definitely fucking the. I was gonna say the main character. He is definitely the fucking like mastermind here. I know exactly what he's asking here. Like, I'll give you anything else, but I want to keep her. He's trying to keep me, and he wants to change the game so Dazai can't. Like, you can take anything, you can go to anything you want, but except for this. I don't want her to remember you because I don't want her to leave. Like, that's so fucking mean, and you're awful, Haiji. I want her. I don't want anything else. Fuck you, bro. You don't get to make that choice for me. I'll let you win the game, so let me have her. I want her. I want to be able to touch her, now and forever. There was nothing I could say in response. Dazai was the same. Dazai's like, I don't have the right to give her to you. She's not property, but also like, fuck no. Even if someone agreed, I wouldn't make it wouldn't make me Haiji's. Didn't matter what game rules were set. But there was a sense of painful solitude in that wish, and it could never be granted. Which is why, like, I like that I like what they're doing here with this. Because it makes his route, like, a little fucking weird. Like, the ending already had the creep factor to it. Like, the little, like, oh, this is a little creepy. Like, oh, because we don't remember anything. Like, but we made that choice. And here he's basically fighting, like, I'll give you anything. You can all go back. Everybody will go back. Let me keep her here. Let's change the rules. You know what I mean? And, like, instead of, like, conning me and making me drink the Kool-Aid to join this fucking cult, he's like, Dazai, you give me the rights to keep her in the cult, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little sad, but it's fucked up. But, like, I like it. I like what they're doing here. I like it. Okay. And so we were silent, but I really am just hoping, like, please don't. I want you to remember Dazai. I need that to be the way this goes, because that's the truth, you know? I accepted Haiji, don't do it. And maybe Haiji wouldn't have to be lonely anymore, but I'd lose everything except Haiji. Yeah, don't do it! We've done this once! Don't do it again! I thought about that even before understanding why he'd said that. But if I refuse and don't accept, Haiji will be all alone. Will he cry alone? It seemed like a story in a book. It didn't feel real. It's kind of not. I didn't even know why I'd refuse. I was feeling more and more confused, but Dazai spoke my conclusion for me.
No matter how much you want her, Sina isn't a thing. People aren't things. They have feelings. I only know you as the person I've seen. And have you ever considered that you're alone because of that way of thinking?
But I don't know. It looked like he said that, but they were drowned out by sudden echoing footsteps. I feel uneasy when the system shuts down and things are this dark. Shut up and keep going. You're actually a fraidy cat, Kyoya. Get out of here with that. You're in the way. I know. There we go. They arrived in a ruckus, and the three of us exchanged glances. It was Gyobu who then grinned. I knew I'd find you here. Oh, I understood everything from that expression. Gyobu came to the lodging on purpose so that he could bring everyone to this room. Then Gyobu was here before us? I told you he was the one who unlocked it. There you are. I'm glad you're safe. Oh, sorry to make you worry. I'm okay.
It's good that we found Sina, but it seems like we're all here. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing? And this location, it appears completely different from everywhere else. Can you explain what it is, Gyobu? Of course, but there's someone in front of me who would know a lot more than I would. Were you talking about? You could have just kept quiet, but you opened your mouth to say that? Are you taunting me?
You're the one doing all the taunting.
Brokiobu, were you the one who unlocked the control panel? Yeah, it was tough to do so you can't. Oh, so you can praise me. It was tough to do, so you can praise me for that. Thanks to that, I was able to achieve my objective. It's amazing. Curious about what that objective is, but guess there's no point in asking about it now. Yep, it's too late for that now. I already told everyone all about it. The place is the lunar base, and that this location is a facility that only the producer can use. Well, some of them don't believe me, but that can't be helped. A facility only the producer can use. Everyone's gaze is turned in my direction. I'm not the producer! I thought the game was going to go that route, and that would have been awesome, but they didn't. But it wasn't to me. They were looking at Dazai and Haiji. Haiji came in here, and Dazai had no clue this was here. I will vouch for that, okay? The two of them were near the control panel, and it was Dazai using the panel until earlier. Trying to, but he didn't start it. So were you saying you were sure Dazai is the producer? Charade is currently suspicious and he might be the producer, but that's not all. What do you mean? Things aren't so simple. Isn't that why everything is always so complicated? Complicated? You're right about that.
I wanted to hear more about that, but as you said, we don't have time.
Haiji. Yeah, well, it's fine. If everyone's here, I'll hear what you have to say. Why are you still so calm? When you look so confident, I don't feel so sure anymore. That was a rare display of doubt from Gyobu, but Akase then spoke up in his place. There's no need to back down now. You just need evidence, right? If you're explaining things here, then there's no need to save your secret weapon. Akase mentioned a secret weapon and then started using his bangle to send us all the data. When the system went down earlier, some of the more secure protections had been lifted. Thanks to that, some access rights were transferred, and the Bureau's starting their intervention. The Information Bureau? That's why the system's unstable right now. Once the Information Bureau completes their crack-in, this place will no longer function. Whatever the producer or director desires, none of that matters anymore. The Otherworld stream will end with the Information Bureau taking over. But how? Thanks to Kyobu. Either way, the connection records were provided allowed for the intervention, but it was moved up. I'm glad I could help, but I didn't think Kyoya would be the one to mention it. I never expected that. I told you, there's no point in hiding things anymore. I was under orders from the Information Bureau. Kase slapped the bangle with the back of his hand lightly, and then looked around at everyone. We confirm the safety of all 10 people here, and all cast members are hereby ordered to stand by. Don't move until the rescue is complete. You may say that, but after all this time, can the Information Bureau be trusted? They practically abandoned us until now. This place is connected to the network, so maybe it's better to ask that for help from others. They didn't abandon us, they were unable to do anything. And that's not an excuse, so don't move. If you move, I'll report you as the sponsor. Can't have you use the other network facility. The other network facility? We passed by it on the way here. There's a network facility used by the sponsor to communicate with the real world. Originally, we sent an SOS to the Information Bureau from there in the same way the sponsor did to contact our world. Then if we stay here, the Information Bureau will come rescue us? Will we really return home? That's right. You can rest assured. Well, anyway, this isn't a threat, but I think we should all just be honest and say what we've been hiding. All the more reason if there's a traitor among us. Or rather, I want to know. I don't care about the betrayal anymore. If you're still a part of this team, why not tell us why you've been lying? Why couldn't you tell us the truth? After Akase said that, he looked at both Dazai and Haiji, but there was no response. It was probably the last thing he could try. He sighed in disappointment. The funny thing is, we still have one more choice we haven't made yet. Well, once we return to the original world, it'll be revealed whether you like it or not. But when that occurs, what'll happen to our lost memories or bodily functions? Ibana whispered to himself quietly about that. Well, it sounded like he yelled it, because that was just how I read Ibana. And Iochi responded,
And that can't be guaranteed. Your life is the priority, but everything else...
The rest just can't be helped then. Our lives are prioritized? You can't even promise us that. That's why we're here right now. Ibana exploded in anger to no one in particular. How many did you think died until now? So what if you rescued us now? The Information Bureau's incompetence forced me to go back on my own. They learned nothing about the Otherworld stream. Even with the information I provided, their investigations made no progress. That's why I had to join this humiliating game for a second time. Why did I even come back here if I was going to just leave it all to the Information Bureau? In the end, I couldn't get my arm back, and I still don't know the truth. I can't entrust it all to some incompetent fools. I fucking love Abana so hard right now. I could sense contempt. However, he wasn't angry at the Information Bureau. I mean, he is just angry about everything, and he's just like, I feel that. Abana sometimes is basically how I feel. We all have Abana moments. I knew that Abana was here reluctantly, but he had his own reasons for doing so.
What's different now is that a cast member who had once returned home is back again.
Huh?
You returned once and were taken into custody by the Bureau, but you escaped our surveillance, made contact with the sponsor, and volunteered again.
How did you...
Was that an easy feat, Abana?
It wasn't easy. Found out about it myself because the Information Bureau was useless. I found the sponsors of the Otherworld stream. Those fanatics. I became friendly with those incomprehensible lunatics and volunteered to join another stream. I even knew that what I was doing was insane. But joining one more time wouldn't guarantee that I get my arm back. Actually, I thought I might actually die this time.
Yes, you are correct. But you can assume that your actions led to the Information Bureau making a breakthrough.
Breakthrough? How?
You're an important clue to the Otherworld stream. So did you really think the Bureau would just let you go? You were always under surveillance.
I love this.
And considering the results of it all, I believe your actions were courageous.
Even if those actions were selfish? Huh. Kay did help other people even... Did helping other people even cross your mind before? Kyobu! Hey, don't say it like that right now. That's just Kay. In fact, that's everyone, if I'm being honest. No one here thinks about the people around them. You only care about surviving yourself and returning. I just wanted to win at the game. I just want to remember Dazai! I'm doing this for Dazai, okay? Do it for him. You hated the dramas more than anyone among the previous cast, and you pushed everyone away after losing your arm. It's a miracle you returned. So why did you come back? That was a major surprise to me. Yoba spoke in his usual manner, and I thought Abana would just get angry like he usually did. But Abana just scoffed lightly. Right. Why did I come back? God, stop. Don't do your side profile. It's so beautiful. I've never thought about doing it for the sake of others even once. Why did I even start to wonder about that now? Was it actually not the case? Maybe you thought you could solve it alone. Oh, shut up. You're always so... Either way, you win completely. So annoying. I'm thankful that I got your help, Kay. Honest. Shut up. Yelling as Abana hurts. Like, my throat hurts now.
Well, even if you don't trust the Information Bureau, they don't share the sentiment. They're thankful for your tip-offs.
Maybe that moment was when they came to an understanding, because Abana was quiet after that. Okay, so we had the little Abana moment. Okay. I also understand how Abana feels. It's not because I don't trust the Information Bureau. Seeing that everyone had quieted down, I clenched my fists and spoke up. There's still many things we don't know. We can't go back like this. Still haven't given up. You can give me your answer now, or you can leave things to the Information Bureau. Why can you give up like this, Haiji? You were pleading with Dazai just earlier. What are you hiding? Why are you so lonely? Why are you so fixated on this world? If it can be solved by entrusting it to the Information Bureau, then you wouldn't cling to me so desperately. I have to know. Take a guess before it all ends. I gave you plenty of hints. Let's play one final game. This is it. Am I? Oh, I was confused. I didn't know how to come to a conclusion. This world, there's so much I don't know. I hesitated once more. Blurting out the answer would mean I was wrong. I couldn't turn back if I was wrong. Not about everything I knew up until then, but Tomose spoke up in my place. You were different from the Arcadians, right? The question seemed to come out of nowhere, but Haiji quietly nodded. Yep, different from the living creatures here. Told you he's a motherfucking robot. Okay, like I was going with he's an alien. Or he's definitely the mastermind, but I mean the alien thing led to the later robot, like, and that lady was talking to Aster, so is he Aster? Like he's the like computer program. He's basically like fucking like we're all digital, so basically that would make sense. So not surprised. And from the looks of it, you seem to know what kinds of living beings they are. They were originally just animals, right? They weren't monsters or anything. That felt even more random. Everyone looked at Tomose. As I continued to make contact with them to gain more points from the dramas, I noticed how they started gaining human intelligence and talked. So they were just animals that you... But I thought in Iochi's it was like the people, the data become the Arcadians. So it's like, dude, you were like, that used to be a bunny rabbit and now it's like absorbing the minds and things of the people that we lost. That's kind of fucked up. That's a little crazy. They were originally some kind of chimera, right? Like they were monkeys or dogs or cats. They used to be animals that existed on Earth. And with the moon crash and everything. Okay, so weird shit happened. Okay, weird science explosion, sure. And they weren't originally those muddy creatures. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are we all thinking what I'm thinking? Like, Chikasaki, your fucking parents. Gross. Which one of yours? Was it your mom that is like into bestiality? She fucked one of those things? That they're not even Dude! What the shit? That's the most disturbing part of this. Chikasaki, your mom's a fucking furry and like took it in a really inappropriate way. There were laws. There were laws about that shit. Damn. Fuck. And if you didn't think about that, now you are. And it makes me a little nauseous. Gross. Correct. And they simply ended up with those forms. The library had data about the Morpheus project at the time, and they took small to mid-sized animals from Earth to the lunar base. Of course, due to the accident 30 years ago, they were thought to all have died. But what if they somehow survived? What if they changed their forms in order to survive the current state of the lunar base? Science explosion, sure. Oh, I see. Yobu exclaimed out loud as he came up with something and walked over to the panel. Please, Chikasaki, just keep silent right now and do not mention that your mom fucked one of those, because, like... He then used the controls to bring up one of the displays. The screen shows the health status of all cast members and also our personal information. And there's other data that's managed in the same way. The screen changed and showed dozens of headings. I thought it was the biometric data of the Arcadians, but there's too much variance in body temperature, pulse, and composition of blood. I found that strange. If they were chimeras made with various kinds of animals, it would make sense. Chimeras. I don't know how else to describe it. That's all I can call them for now. However, they were able to raise their intelligence this much, so they must have human DNA in them. If so, then maybe they're more than chimeras. So, I mean, it could have been like that, like, weird science explosion merging the little animals with and then the human DNA of the people. I mean, weird science meldy explosion, sure. Okay. Sure, I'll take it. Whatever, weirder shit's happened. Were they creating those kind of creatures here at the lunar base? This was supposed to be for human for knowledge! This was supposed to store all the world's knowledge, not create monsters! Damn. You always gotta know there's some secret shady shit going on everywhere in every government thing, right? The Arcadians do exist, as a matter of fact, so you have to think of it that way. That's impossible. Ethically, it isn't allowed. Yeah, but how far do, like, world ethics go on the moon? Saying. Right. If there was someone who would keep them in check, ethics and laws might have mattered. Utami's sarcastic retort quieted Akase, and after a short silence, he spoke up. Then, who would do such a thing? The producer? Well... He turned to look at Dazai, but Dazai just looked down in confusion. Dazai's like, look, dude, I only did it for this one time, and I'm still not gonna tell you anything because I want her to goddamn remember. And, like, but Dazai didn't do it. But, like, actually, okay, that could make sense. There were still animals here that you thought died, but then, what's his face? Like, Haiji made them with all the digital data and was fusing all the people, the humans, into them and whatever. So, like, yeah, okay, sure. Listen, doing weird robot science. It was Yoshi who interrupted. This is fucking insane and I'm here for it.
We won't accuse the producer in order to know the truth. And that was the deal, right, Sana?
Oh, even at this stage, Yoshi didn't forget about our promise. Good for Yoshi. I was thankful for that as I nodded to think. The truth. What's real? There's still things we don't know, but there are lots of hints. That's right. I realized something. I haven't checked the data in my bangle yet. It was the data from the bangle I found in the grave. It belonged to a previous cast member or someone else, you. Either way, there'd be a hint about who it belonged to if they were alive in Arcadia. Now that the system's back up, I can check it. I rushed to start up my bangle, but there wasn't much data left in it. I noticed some data had interesting names. Bill. It was video data. I projected it onto the screen so everyone could see it before I played it. The video was bright. Hello. Where do I start things like this? I don't know, but this is my will. Oh. I couldn't help but exclaim out loud. I'd seen this person numerous times already, so this is the research lady that they say we look like. She kind of has, like, her eyes are a little different colored, but okay, sure. The video that Haiji showed me earlier and the album that was in the grave. For both cases, she was the one who took the most significant role. She was a researcher in the Morpheus Project. If I have to make it out to someone, it's Kaio. I'm sorry that Mommy and Daddy were rarely at home for you. Is this our grandma? You would recognize your mom's name, though, you know what I mean? And it wasn't for any short period either. I'd suddenly leave and not come back for 2 years, so it can't be helped if you don't remember our faces. But Kaio, I know you're smart, so I believe you'll remember me. Please play nice with Palt. Mommy will be fine. It's my second trip to the moon, and it feels like a completely different world, but there is a lot of entertainment. I can watch all the dramas I recorded or read books. It's all fun. I'll be safe and I'll be back soon. No need to worry. We have quite the handful with some of the ones on the moon. I have to go and see it now. And this one is called Aster. I'll let you two meet someday. That future will definitely come. Speaking of the future, I will have to say something that's fitting to make this a will. We'll be building the first step for the future through the Morpheus Project. This message is for all the people in the future. That's us. We're the people in the future. How's the future after the Morpheus Project? Well, no, that's it because it crashed and burned. But are you living an even better future? I always hope that's the case. I hope everyone's healthy and safe, that society's well managed, that the environment's protected. To be honest, I think doing all that is impossible. Look at that. She's real. She fucking understands. I think it'll get better. Everything sad and painful will be made less so, and people will be happier, and things will be more wonderful than ever before. Wait, did she just say? I think doing all that's impossible. Like, and then, but it's like, I think doing that's impossible. I think it'll get better, and then everyone will be great and awesome. It's kind of contradicting to saying that, like, they're trying to do all these great, awesome things, and you're like, that's impossible. But everything will be great and awesome. Like, what the hell? I mean, I get if she's trying to be like, I think doing all that's impossible, but I think people will end up being happier, just not in this perfect fucking, magical kingdom that they're trying to build, I'm working hard to make that kind of future. I pray that this project will be a success. Well, if by chance I died, I hope you remember me in a future where the system has been completed. That's what this system is for. I hope you'll remember me. That moon, I hope that it'll become our Arcadia. With a prayer, Mizuki Sena. Okay, so yeah, we're related to this woman. That ended the will. I didn't move a finger as I continued to stare at the sky shown in the screen. See? No. I rose up, but I heard a conversation starting. From what was said, it was probably a will left behind by a member of the Morpheus Project. Which means this was the owner of that bangle.
No. Speaking of which, astronauts are said to leave wills before departure in case of accidents.
Hearing that, I can tell just how much hope the members had for the project. I don't know why Futami's voice isn't coming out right now. Unfortunately, that dream would never be fulfilled because of that accident. She must have passed away during the accident.
I think so. And the accident that happened at the lunar base 30 years ago was caused by an AI's miscalculation.
Hi, G, how dare you miscalculate? Is he the AI? Huh?
The Morpheus satellite had an unstable orbit. An orbit correction processing device was placed on it in case it was on a collision course with Earth.
So the device misfired?
And that's right. The AI running on the lunar base at the time managed the calculations of the orbit. And that AI determined that a correction was needed.
Now, you know, he's like, wait, what? And then he's looking up, but wasn't he, when we showed that and somebody was saying it, wasn't he there when we had this conversation before? Like, oh, it was due to a miscalculation or whatever in the, whatever. You know what I mean? Or maybe he wasn't, or was that when they were like, what do they call it? Like the correction processing device. And he's like, correction processing device? Somebody was confused about that, like the wording, like, what the fuck? And maybe that was him because he didn't realize that he's the fucking AI. It was you. You did this. You killed everyone. That would be great. Can we please have that be what happened? He's just fucking Aster. He's a fucking AI. And he caused this accident and doesn't realize it. And now is just all of a sudden going to realize, like, what he is. And, like, oh my god. Yes. Do it, game.
And the worst thing was the approval for that was easily given. Human error had a hand in it, and the orbit correction device activated, and the bomb exploded. If that would have been the only thing that happened, we would have only lost Morpheus, but the problem was where Morpheus exploded.
It was so close to the moon that it affected the lunar base. Normally I'd think that'd be taken into account for the calculations.
And that's right. I don't know how much of that was a mistake, but the fragments rained down on the moon. It wasn't something they'd considered. A part of the base was destroyed. Unfortunately, those lost facilities played a major role in life preservation. And the shuttle they needed to return home was damaged, and they tried holding out with what they had, but the rescue wasn't in time, causing all 10 to... And they all died. And that's the entirety of the accident.
That also explains why there's always 10 of us here. There's always 10 total. 10 people. All 10 people that were here died. There's always 10 cast members. You know what I mean? It's like he's trying to recreate and constantly bring back people and keep the people here, but everyone keeps fighting, try to go home, and he's like, doesn't realize what he's doing, maybe. Maybe he knows, but doesn't fully know. Like, I'm doing this, but doesn't realize, like, I am pulling everyone back because I'm trying to recreate what was once here. Without, like, consciously being aware of it, you know? But if that's true, then wouldn't the lunar base be so damaged nothing living would be able to live there? But this place...
And that's why I don't think we're on the lunar base. But that doesn't apply if we're beings of data.
I fucking told you we were just data! I've told you! I've said that since the beginning, but at the same time, the first route when we went back, or in Iochi's route, it was straight up like, Iochi was like, oh, our bodies are on the thing, and we're not, so we knew that, so that's not really, I knew it! It's like, they confirmed that a long ass time ago, to be fair, so. Data, are you saying that... No, hold on, and before you go on, who was in that video? I wasn't able to process what Iochi was saying. I kept thinking about the videos, searching my memory. Io. That's right. Io. That's your mother's name, isn't it? That's what Okay, here's the thing. So when it was like, oh, Kaio, I'm like, is it maybe our grandma? That's why she looks familiar? But then I was like, wouldn't we have fucking recognized when she called her daughter Kaio that that's our mom's name? But I guess it'd be like Susan, you know what I mean? Like maybe Kaio is a very common Japanese name. I don't know. You know what I mean? Where like, they say the name like Susan and you're like, oh, like my mom's name's Susan. I'm like, okay, you don't think anything weird about some astronaut lady having a daughter with the same name as your mom. You're not like, oh my god, I wonder if it's my grandma. Because you probably didn't remember her. That could also... But that's weird that your mother never talked about her mother. You know, and said like, oh, your grandma died in the accident so that you would have recognized. You know what I mean? Unless she was erased. Anyway. Kayoko Sena. Oh, Kayo, they're calling her nickname. Okay. Okay, so it'd be like your mom's name is Susan, she's calling her Sue, and you're like, okay. Like, so, yeah, it's my mom's name. Her child was Kayo. Remember me. The person who said that in the video was she my grandmother? Wonder why I didn't remember her. My grandmother from my mother's side? Where did she live? How old was she? Like, you don't remember her because somebody took your memory of that too. Ah, okay. Or my grandfather's name. Where did those two go? Things that I learned here were obviously facts. Uzuki Sena, along with her husband, were members of the Morpheus Project. And if they were my grandparents, they were my mother's parents. They were the parents of my mother, who always talked about Morpheus. I remember. Try to remember. But I couldn't remember. My mother never mentioned it even once. Why? Why did Mom never tell me anything about my grandmother and grandfather? Grandma said she wanted us to remember her in that video. She worked so hard for it. When I was deep in despair and confusion, Dazai gently patted my back and answered at my place.
Wasn't it because you couldn't remember?
Huh? Dazai's like, you forget a lot of shit, girl. Look at me. Look me in the eyes. You forget a lot.
Leiji, you said that this video can only be seen here, right?
Yeah.
That's not because she's been erased from all networks except for the one here, and the data, and the memory of her family.
Haiji didn't say anything, but that was the same as agreeing to it. So, like, when this crashed, did the data just accidentally get erased? Where, like, it's like, oh, fuck. But obviously not fully, because, like, they teach you about the Morpheus Project. They're not like, what? It's not like all of a sudden some astronaut goes to the moon and is like, there's a fucking base here. What the fuck did this happen? So, you know what I mean? So, do you think that we maybe knew about our grandma, maybe our mother told us about the Morpheus Project, we knew, and then when this started up, Haiji started up the Otherworld stream, that he deleted the memories of everybody, like all the astronauts and people. Do you think, or it was like a data corruption thing or whatever? And I'm wondering if he was the AI, if he's Aster, right? And Aster was the AI that was controlling and actually caused the accident. You'd purposely delete everyone and want to forget, and like, you delete it, like, I'll forget everyone and then everything's okay. And then all of a sudden Haiji's here like, huh, why am I here? I don't remember anymore. And then you bring, and like, he just doesn't remember the shit that he did? Does he erase that from his own memory? Fuck, come on, please be the case, because that's fucking awesome. Erased? From my mother's memory, too. Everything was making sense. This is so fucking amazing. Not forget. Even more so if that person is dear to you. Mother always said that. God, we gotta remember our grandma, our grandpa, and Daz. We got a lot of people to remember. Not forget. Never forget. If it's important, that person is dear to you. My mother constantly repeated that as if something had possessed her to say it. I always held on to things to keep mementos of my experiences. Souvenirs from trips, accessories from shops, pictures we drew, dolls we made. My mother's habits became my habits, and it became part of me. Like, because your mother, like, in the back of her mind is like, I forgot someone. That's right. That's why I hated forgetting and tried not to. That's what I always thought. My mother had forgotten someone she loved, but she still remembered she had forgotten. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh my god, your mother is like, I forgot something important and I don't know what it is. It's kind of like the early stages of, like, freaking Alzheimer's, where you're like, you know that you're forgetting shit, you know your mind's starting to go, and you can't control it. There's a point where, like, I mean, that's the way my grandmother got, like, she would start to forget things, and then, like, you get very irritable and angry because, like, you were forgetting things, and it's not like someone's like, oh, don't you remember? And you're like, oh. Fuck no, I forgot. Because, like, that's normal. People forget things. But it's when you're like, I know this. I fucking know this! And then you can't remember and you just get angry about it. Like, this poor woman is like, I forgot someone important. I know it's in there, but I don't know where to... Like, she knows she forgot. It's not like someone reminded her and she was like, oh yeah, I forgot about my parents. She's like, somebody forgot someone important and I don't know who it is. It's probably been driving this woman crazy her whole fucking life. What the fuck? To be fair, she had to know she had parents. You didn't just magically pop out of nowhere. So everyone else around her is like remembering their parents, talking about it, and she's like, I don't remember my parents. Huh. And that probably just feels wrong. Not like someone who grew up an orphan who's like, oh yeah, I never knew my parents, and that's feels sad in a different way. This is for her, she's gonna be like, that's not right. Like, you know something's wrong. Something's off. Fuck. Our poor mom has been driven crazy by this for like 30 fucking years. It helped shape me into who I am now. Just like my mother, I hated the act of forgetting, and I tried to live my life to avoid that. No, it's too sad. It is. My mother always said this, to not forget, to never forget. Yet, how would they be erased? My legs shook and I was unable to stand. This is definitely not going to end this part. Damn. Different emotions swirled in me and overflowed. The regrets of those who died in the accident, the shock that my grandparents were there, and even the existence of my parents, the memories and their will, they were all erased when I thought of my mother's regrets. I felt so disconcerted. I felt mortified. Wait till you remember that you forgot Dazai. I won't forget. Refuse to forget. I want to remember. There were things I had forgotten. My memory was erased like my mother's. But I still remembered that I'd forgotten. So will I have to live on with that regret?
Saina.
I looked up and my eyes met with Dazai's, remember. No, I will not forget. I won't forget. I will not forget. I repeated that just like my mother. Give me back my memories. A blinding light. Felt like it flashed in my head. Give me back Dazai. Give me back Dazai. There he is. Oh, I love this so much. Oh, there's our boy back. Oh, I mean, we've already seen this CG, but still. He was always next to me. Ah! Dazai just won. I slowly opened my eyes and I felt the warmth of someone holding my hand.
Yeah, you're correct.
Huh? Dazai was looking into my face and he appeared so much kinder than before. Poor Dazai has been holding back and now he's like, oh, finally! Oh! Oh. Okay. Look, so technically, I'm guessing Dazai's really the poster boy if you think about it. Even though, like, they put Akase front and center on, like, kind of the art and things like that, but, like, they can't put Dazai front and center because then you'd fucking know. You don't know until you get to that point and then you're like, oh my god. But, like, for a poster boy, really, you're kind of, in a way, it's like, he's kind of the canon boyfriend if you think about it. Like, some routes it's like, oh, you do anybody, and then sometimes there's like Lupin's kind of the canon route in Code Realize, right? You know, he's kind of that's kind of like the main one, right? You're supposed to be letting that. Dazai, obviously, you can't go to any other route and be like, well, technically you were always in love with Dazai before you even came here and you forgot about him. Like, there's really no way around that. You could try to deny it, but like, this game is like, Dazai was your fucking boyfriend before you came here, so when you leave with somebody else, or, you know, like, I think he's the most canon boyfriend we've ever had, but you know what? He's literally the best. He's the best canon boyfriend route that we've ever had. I don't know what it is. Because, like, overall, I wouldn't say this is up there in, like, one of the best games I've ever played. I'm enjoying this. Okay, there were moments I did not enjoy it, and I want to choke Haiji, but if he turns out to be the fucking AI that crashed the Morpheus project into the moon and whatever, then that's, you know what? Cool. You know what? That's kind of fun. You know, I'm okay with the ending. There were some parts of the ride that weren't fun and made me nauseous. Okay. But like, the end result is still fun. Good times were had. Okay. But I gotta be honest, Dazai really is the best canon route ever. Like, no one can hold a candle. Like, you're the best. Because, like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, a Lupin and, like, freaking Code Realize is the only one I can think of right now. I mean, I guess technically Dante and Pio Fiore, because, like, the whole plotline in that is like, you're kind of proper. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's kind of like, you could go that. I really did like. I like everybody in Pure Fear though. I liked everybody in Code Realize. You know, even Impy, yeah. But like, and I did like Lupin. Don't get me wrong. Van Helsing is still my favorite. But like, and I love Ibana and Iochi. I really do. And Ibana is still always gonna have a special place in my heart because he's my salty little marshmallow. Okay, my glass is salty marshmallow. We know what I like. Okay, I'm simple. But like, I can't lie that like Dazai is as I've been fighting it for like the last couple of hours that we've been playing this. Like every time, like no, Dad, I'm like no, Ibana's my favorite. I'm like I don't know. Actually, might not be my Dazai might actually be my favorite. Like, listen. I just have to admit that Ibana has a special place in my heart, and I love him to fucking death. But I really do think that I could not be happier with this game making Dazai your canon kind of result boyfriend. Like, it's just, fuck. Normally, I'd have my favorite. I have Ibana, and then I'd be like, no, but I want him to be my favorite. And I like the end character, sure, and like her canon boyfriend, but I still like this other one better. Like, no, I love you, Ibana. Don't get me wrong. You're still my precious little salty marshmallow, and I love you to death. But I just Dazai deserves the world. Stop it. Fucking A. Anyway, we just remembered him, and I'm just so happy. Because I was really disappointed we remembered him and everything was great, and then we had to do the Haiji round. I'm like, what the fuck? Now we're here, and this is the real ending of the game. This is the one time, okay, when a game's like, okay, you did all the routes, now let's do the true ending, and it didn't bitch slap me in the face unless it kills Dazai. Then all bets are off, alright? I've been through this once before. Seven Scarlet, you son of a bitch! Still mad about that. How many years has it been? I'll frickin' die mad at that game. Anyway, Dazai was looking into my face and he appeared so much kinder than before. Oh! Kiss him already. Something about it was nostalgic. Was I?
Yeah, I was always by your side.
Yeah, we made a grave for the goldfish together.
Even if everyone in the class forgot about it, we said we'd never forget.
That's right. We said that we would never forget. I finally remembered what I had said. The regret was bitter in my mouth. Just kiss him. Sorry I forgot, Dazai.
That's all right. There's no need to apologize.
Game clear! Congratulations! I just had fucking Alice in Borderland fucking flashbacks with the game clear. Congratulations. You've managed to regain your memories. The winner is Dazai. It's terrible that we've lost the game, but we can't have the cast get... After a large thundering echo, the sound cut off. The director was nowhere to be found, and it didn't seem like we'd hear his voice anytime soon. The director's voice... That's the Information Bureau doing their thing right now. What just happened?
Either way, a win is a win.
Dazai grabbed my hand to help me stand up.
I kept my promise. I proved it. You've proven everything I tried to do.
Prove?
Zena, you remembered it just like I believed you would. You managed to remember me.
Still haven't gotten our last choice for where we get the truth ending / the good. I'm very confused here. This felt all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, it's like the wait a minute, we still. As I looked around at everybody and spoke up again.
I'm sorry I kept quiet about it. I am the producer. I was the traitor.
I heard gasps of surprise rather than expectation.
You all knew but didn't accuse me. Thank you, Sena. Everyone else, too.
So, considering how you suddenly admitted to being the producer, does that have anything to do with the game clear announcement?
Yeah, I was playing a game with the original producer. We bet on whether or not someone could remember memories erased by the system here. Sena, I'm sorry I used you for that. But I knew you'd remember me. And that's why I called you here.
Me?
That's why I have to apologize. I called you here out of my own circumstances and got you involved. Sorry for making you go through this.
I couldn't accept it all and repeated that in my mind. Dazai called me here? Fight it out with the original producer? Then you really are a previous participant. You were a cast member with me?
Yeah, during the previous stream, I found the producer among the cast and got a huge amount of points as a reward. But even after getting the amount of points necessary, Returning to our world was conditional. Either only one could return, or everyone except one.
What the hell's with that cruel condition?
You'll either sacrifice everyone else and return alone, or sacrifice yourself and have all your friends return. Probably wanted to see you make that choice. Well, that's how the original producer is.
Right, Haiji? And even if we saved enough points and wished to return, we'd still have to sacrifice someone to do that.
That's right. And that's why I stayed behind after the previous one. Not everyone's memory of me was erased. Sina, Abon and Gyobu don't remember me, and my data isn't anywhere to be found back home. However, I didn't want to give up, and that's why I made a deal with the producer. The producer was fixated on the concept of memories, and that's why the producer kept trying to erase the existence of people who got a dead end. The producer thinks that death can be finalized once someone's entirely forgotten, and the reverse too. As long as they're not forgotten, they don't die. The producer prioritized whether or not we're remembered rather than being alive or dead. I sort of understand. Painful to live on being forgotten by everyone.
Aww. Don't break my heart.
If no one around you can recognize you, the same as being dead, but it isn't the same as complete death. If you can be forgotten, you can be remembered. Even if it defies logic, there are memories that can overcome that.
And I feel like that gives you a little more insight into Haiji over there. Like you're around you and nobody remembers you, but if you've been forgotten, you can be remembered. Like, he's forgotten because if he was an AI or whatever on this project, or a person that died here, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, everyone forgot you, and you just want someone to remember you. You've been here, stuck here alone. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of sad. Oh, let's get little robot boy back. Not in love with. No, creepy. But robot boy, we're going to get you back home.
Well, that's why I did my best to prove it. And I asked to be returned to my world once that proof had been demonstrated.
I see. So that's why you're allowed to return.
But the Information Bureau's intervening now. Why were you fixated on that until the end? You're so stubborn, you know that?
In his case, he'd already been erased, and he needed the so-called producer to agree with it and deal with it accordingly.
But you could have just told us your circumstances.
All this is to become the last stream. And then that's all the more reason to prove it. Memory isn't absolute.
And that sounds great and all. But what if you had to sacrifice yourself again? One wrong move and you would have been left behind here together with the original producer. Everyone would have forgotten about you and no one would have been grateful for you.
I'm not doing this to be thanked. I also want to return if possible. I've kept quiet about it all this time anyways.
That's so dumb. What's up with your hopeless self-sacrificing self? You really have to work on that. I'm starting to remember things little by little. Must have come back here to give you a piece of my mind about your stupid self-sacrifice. You see your... what? You took the punishment game in my place against my wishes, and you stayed behind on your own too. I have evidence of that. Even if I don't remember, I know. Here's something I've been meaning to say. You're such a fool, you know that?
You too. You've forgotten, but I remember. After the previous stream ended and you were about to return, you saw that I decided to stay and you told me that you'd be back. You said you'd come back to Arcadia and drag me back home. Not so heated in the moment. I'm sure you had some complaints for me, but in the end, that was to help me get back.
Huh? No. I don't remember that. Don't just lie about it.
Fine. Assume what you like. You were finally able to go home, yet you called me a fool. So I chose you as a cast member this time. I'm glad you cooperated with me. Thank you.
No, I was real suspicious of you, you know that. You're thanking the wrong guy.
Despite your doubts, you still searched for the truth.
I thought to myself that I couldn't go back without doing that. I couldn't go back without learning who the true mastermind was.
I see. And that answers half of it.
Everyone's eyes turned to one person. Like waiting for him, like, when are we going to talk about Haiji? The traitor. The producer is Dazai. We all understood he was the producer. But there was something more important. There was still a traitor in the truest sense of the word, even when we accounted for the producer. And the traitor was among us. The traitor was among us. Dun dun dun. The end. I'm just kidding. Why would you do this? You brought so many cast members here from the Otherworld stream, and if they don't do it right, you force them into a dead end. You stole their memories and data and erased them from the world. No matter the reason, that just can't be allowed. You actually wanted us to know the reason why you've been forced to do this, right? That's why you told us so many things. You told me you felt so lonely and bored for such a long time. I feel like it's so funny because, like, they're leading this like you're supposed to be like, who is she talking to? Like, you have to fucking know she's talking to IG, like, Jesus. Why do they not show him? Why do they, like, make it like, they're trying to make this dramatic when nobody's wondering at this point, you know. You also told me about the lunar base. You provided me with so many hints so that I would learn the truth about it. You wanted me to understand. You knew about my grandmother who died here. That's why you chose none other than me. Tell me everything. I'll accept it all. I won't leave you. I don't know who you really are, but I know why you created this world. You've been lonely this entire time. Right, Haiji? It's so funny they do this, like, you're talking this, like, you've done this the time. You've been lonely this whole time. Right, Haiji? Like, you're gonna be, like, you're gonna be shocked. Like, you fucking know what I've known from the beginning, but also, like, you've known this. There was no way after Haiji's route you didn't fucking know he was sus as fuck. Or even if you were totally clueless, when you got to this point and everyone's talking and Daze's talking about the true producer or whatever, you're like, oh, okay, Haiji, okay. You know he's involved. You knew. This is not, they set this up like it's supposed to be a shock, and you're like, we've known for at least an hour now. If not, like, how long have we been playing this game? 80 some odd hours? We've known for about 80 hours now, okay? But even if you had no clue, you've known for at least the last 10 minutes. So this is so unnecessary. Ridiculous. He accepted what I said and blinked slowly. He then gently turned his gaze toward me. Oh, there we go, another high GCG. The first one to manage to get so much right. Glad I chose you. You are my mother's granddaughter. Yeah, okay, he's the fucking AI, isn't he? Fucking A. As he said that, he remained motionless. For so long, Haiji had been reaching out to touch me, and he always refused to let go. Now he was maintaining his distance. Also, that's creepy, because you're basically like my uncle then. So, like, don't get all handsy and weird with me. You're the creepy uncle. Listen, I'll take the brother route, I'll take a cousin route, but a creepy uncle? Nah. I draw lines. Even if my creepy uncle is a robot or an AI and is not even a real person. Still weird. Now he was maintaining his distance. Mother? Upon hearing that, it wasn't just the physical distance that set us apart. Ichi, he'd survived all alone on the lunar base after everything else had died, and he'd spent years here. That was the only possibility. Aster? I think I'd ever hear that name again. However, you called me that and it made me so happy. My grandmother used that name in the video and on the photo album. She said the name with love, but it was the name of the AI that was in charge of the lunar base. Oh my god, I'm so glad they did this! I'm so glad they made him the fucking AI and that, like, he's the reason everyone died and, like, he's obviously, like, I was lonely and it was my fault and I brought it, like, oh my god, that's so sad! But I love it! Genius! Good job, game! High five! I'm so happy, because if it went anywhere else, I'd be, like, disappointed because I thought of that. So, like, obviously 5 minutes before they revealed it, so, like, I still knew he was sus as fuck! But he's not, like, evil sus. He's just, you know, sad, lonely robot sus. Aw. Anyway. If you'd have asked me, I would have called you that. See. Haiji looked down quietly, and then Dazai spoke up. He sounded confused. Aster. It's the name of the AI that was charged with running the lunar base. I think my grandmother developed it. Yes. There were multiple developers, though. To be exact, I was an AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. I was her child and grew up by learning. Of course, I was nothing but a program, and my mother had a real daughter named Kaio. So I was sometimes told to call her Big Sis. My mother put so much effort into me and taught me so many things, from social norms to human emotions. This is very weird as someone who works on computer programs and is like, so now I'm supposed to like think of all the little projects and things that I do as my baby. I didn't build the system, I just fix it and shit. So like, but that's is my baby. No. He's a pissy little bitch. That thing is older than me. Okay, maybe not quite that old, but Jesus. He's old as fuck. So like, he's like my grandpa. It's okay, Grandpa. Sit down, Grandpa. Grandpa, sit down. I'll fix it. Grandpa, sit down. I'll tie your shoe. Fix it. And that's basically me. It's like me. I'm working in like a fucking nursing home at this point. Like, basically what this program is so fucking old. So, kind of the reverse. Anyway,
Learned almost everything from her, so that's why I consider your grandmother to be my mother. Well, you're a program. You were never human after all. I mean, I joked to you about being AI once. Or would have guessed that it was true. Oh, no, it's Gilbo. I mean, I joked about you being an AI once. Never would have guessed that it was true. I mean, they kind of, when he said the AI, and then, or when he was like, they kept throwing out alien, and like, they kept throwing out alien and foreign, and like all those things earlier, like spaced, and you're like, not a fucking alien now, because they keep throwing out all this stuff, like these little hints. Alien, AI, same difference, still learning how to human. Seeing that reaction, Haiji smiled. Let's get to the bottom of things. Big Bro Tazai won the match and you found out my identity. This is it. So I'm willing to tell you it. Tell you all everything you want to know.
What we want to know? I was still feeling a little confused when Iochi threw out the first question.
So in other words, was Dazai referring to you when he talked about the original producer? Did you create the Otherworld stream?
Yes. Big Bro Dazai was under my direction to act as this current stream's producer. I was the producer for all the others. He chose the scripts based on dramas that I was interested in and had people act them out. Wasn't bad entertainment. He enjoyed watching the cast become confused and playing around by hiding among the cast while avoiding detection.
I mean, it's still a little creepy that an AI is like killing people, but like, you know. Then were you participating as a cast member for every Otherworld stream?
Yeah, no fun if you watch from the outside. As long as I changed my name and look, no one would ever know. Just a program after all.
So I told you there was truth in that, but I didn't believe him. Like that, oh, I made a deal with the other producer and I don't know whether, like, okay. I told you that was somewhat true, but still a lie.
Make it look like I got a dead end. I enjoyed watching the cast work so hard to act out the dramas.
So that's what happened. You told me you've been here a long time and that your looks and name were changed.
Sorry, I lied. We have always been here. I'm a cast member, but I'm the original producer. However, leaving everything to Big Bro Dazai would make the dramas boring, so I'd sometimes instigate some things. The alert would make a different sound at those times. Did you notice that?
Did I note? No. Did I notice there were different alert terms? Were there actually?
Yeah, I wonder what was up with that. Was that the reason? Yeah, that's the reason.
Interesting. Did anyone actually notice as you were playing or when you were going through that the alert tones for dramas were different sometimes? Because I certainly did not pick up on that if they made it different. So I don't know if that's just oh, they said they did, but they didn't actually, or is that like a thing they actually put in the game to see if you noticed? Curious. And what about the director? If you're the program that made the Otherworld stream, who's the director? He's a fucking robot.
That's just an AI I created. Based him on the MC of a TV show I saw. I told you he wasn't fucking real. He looks like he's got robot joints. He wasn't that well made, so I would have to give him orders sometimes. He did a good job as a host.
I see. I had a feeling you were probably the mastermind behind it all. So you really are the GM.
Doing things is my job. Interbase got so boring once all the living beings were gone. Built the system using an existing one and linked the 3D image projection and mutual recognition systems and built the Otherworld stream on top of that.
3D image projection and mutual recognition?
Yeah. In your world, they haven't started utilizing this technology yet. They use something similar to it on the lunar base. It might be hard to understand, so I'll show you. Here.
After saying that, Haiji caught a floating watcher in his hands like he normally did.
This is a work robot that's currently still running at the lunar base. It was originally used to perform physical tasks on the base. So, go. Try holding it.
He handed the watcher to me. The watcher fell into my hands and remained motionless.
First, you understand 3D image projection, right? That's just the process of showing you a hologram that you can see, normally can't touch. However, not being able to touch things isn't fun, so I added the mutual recognition feature. So now I'll turn off the mutual recognition feature. Here goes. That's why we can touch some things, but we can't touch other things.
Haiji snapped his fingers, and the watcher fell through my hands and rolled onto the floor. Huh? Saying that it fell from my hands is inaccurate. To be more precise, it was more like it actually passed through my hands. We're like way over time, but there's not really a good place to stop. But I also don't want to be like a 2-hour part. You know what I mean? So, I tried to reach out to touch the watcher, but I couldn't. Like it was some ghost. What's going on?
Your sense of touch is gone and you can't interact with it either, right?
Yeah.
Okay, back now. You're back to the way you were. You can touch the watcher. You can also feel it when you touch it. That's mutual recognition.
I touched the watcher once more as I was told, and it felt just as real as it usually did. Maybe because it thought it was done, the watcher just started to float away as if nothing happened.
The system only applies to some settings. The watcher and facilities here are the only things that track the movement of the cast and can be directly touched. Think of it as a more advanced form of teleexistence. By believing that you each exist, this system becomes possible. The system was developed and utilized during the establishment of the lunar base. It was more efficient than using robots. However, it's impossible to touch things that weren't designed to be touched. Parts of Sector 2, for example. A lot of the stuff in there can't be touched. You should assume that most things you can interact with don't actually exist in reality. Same goes for the Arcadians. They don't approach you because, although you can touch them, they can't touch you. That's why they're not interested in you. However, there are exceptions to that.
Chigasaki's mom.
Either way, these two systems are combined in such a way that they trick your 5 senses into believing that this is reality. It's happening even now. Call that the Qualia system.
Things are starting to connect. I was trying my best to understand what he was saying, but I couldn't keep up. The others were probably feeling the same. I noticed Gyobu frowning.
You're giving quite the explanation here, but some of us just don't understand.
Honestly, I'm just pretending to understand. I get it. You can touch things here because he made it so you can touch things here, but if he turns off the system, you can't touch things. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's a technicality, but I mean, like, you get the gist of it. You're like, okay. I'm not really here, but I can touch things because he made it. So, like, whatever, it's good enough. You know, I mean, come on. Between the two of you, you've got more than 4 brain cells. You don't have to understand the details to get the gist of it. You know what I mean? Is there a need to understand this?
See? You don't need to force yourself to understand it. We're all about to return anyway.
And this place feels so real to us. So as Yoshi said, we were actually all... And these aren't our real bodies? This is just virtual reality.
That's correct. Lunar base, watchers, and Arcadians are all real. Cast is fake, just like me or data. Reality, your bodies are housed inside the hospital of the Information Bureau. You repeat a cycle of half lucidity and sleep. Now you're half awake and you're having a virtual experience of the lunar base, sorry. So this is like a dream.
Dream? It was just like something I'd heard before. People with unknown identities had been received by the Information Bureau's hospital. We were likely all unconscious in the hospital, just like they were. So when a drama starts and we're teleported to a different place, or when our injuries heal instantly, it's all...
As I'm messing with your data. If I overwrite it, you're back to normal. So convenient. Can't do that in the real world. Well, I would have known. Our system even allows you to feel pain. I'd have been banned in the real world.
And this isn't the real world, though. The lunar base is devoid of human life, so it's possible to build that kind of system here.
No, there's still a problem with that. Even if you've been cut off from other humans, when it comes to building a system like this, your programming should have prevented you from doing anything that was ethically questionable. And that includes virtual reality and pain simulation. Manipulating personal information or erasing it, and causing dead ends are also out of the question. Aster shouldn't be exempt from that.
Yuchi walked over with a bitter expression. I tapped at the panel quickly, searching for information. Or, what are you looking for? Okay, this part's going to go on forever. I'm going to stop here. I know we're in the middle of it, but, like, there's really no good place to stop because we're at the info dump section. But, like, I just don't know that it's not going to, like, go on for another 30, 40 minutes. And, like, you know, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to cockblock us all because I can't record the next part directly after this. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to because I'm a little hungry. So, like, whatever. But anyway, so I'm going to guess the next part will probably be the end, the wrap up, the finishing all the information and stuff like that. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.